Sometimes when you think it's the worst, the best comes from it. There's a rainbow at the end of the storm, is all I want to say for how grateful I am for the outpouring of support and love that I got from my emotional, moments last week, yesterday, or on Monday, I guess, too. I didn't cover it yesterday on the show, and I wanted to make sure to. I think I wrote back to almost everyone who wrote me because it was like and almost all of you said, I know you're getting so many of these, you don't need to write back. And sometimes I do hear that and I just like it and I'm like, oh, thanks for that person. But in this situation, I took the time to write back because, boy, I just have to say, like, it's just a nice reminder that truly, like, the worst moments in life, and if you think back to all the worst moments in your life, and maybe this isn't true, and I've been lucky enough to not go through some really hard times, but like, there's always some kind of silver lining that you can find, and I found it very quickly in this one with the just the amount of people that I just felt so supported, and I felt really good about myself because you don't write to people the way these people wrote to me unless you care about them, and I just felt like, oh my God, it made me feel good that I have made you feel like you're that close to me. And because you are, even though we don't know each other, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know that feeling. And, cause I was just talking actually to someone yesterday about it, Noah, about how I'm so glad we do this show daily. And I love morning radio shows. Like part of my morning routine is when I, either putting on Stern. It used to be Stern, and I'm always a Stern head, but I have a close friend that's on a local radio show here, and now I'm like obsessed with his morning radio show. It's called The Courtney Show. They do a podcast. If you want like some fun, I'm not trying to like get us competition, but it's just a show I listen to every morning in St. Louis, and they have a podcast of it, and it's just so fun, and I learn so much, and I feel like they're my friends. And I used to have that with the Adam Carolla show when he was with Teresa Strasser and Danny Bonaducci. It was like this weird run where they were together maybe like a year and a half, maybe 2 years on the radio in LA. And I was babysitting, and every day I would have to drive from the Valley to Brentwood for this woman who would just be there the whole time. And like, man, I get it that parents just want to work from home and sometimes have the nanny in the next room. It's so much more annoying when you're still there, when you're nannying, because the kids know you're there and they can always just go find the parents anytime you don't give them what they want, or like you hit them or something and they don't like it. I'm just kidding. I did kick Iris Apatow in the face one time, and Judd was home. I used to babysit for Judd Apatow's kids, and Judd was home one time, and it was one of those circumstances where he was just like having like, lunch meetings with people in the West Wing or whatever section of their house. And I remember like accidentally kicking Iris in the face because I was trying to beat Maud in a swim competition. I was like competitive with Maud. Like Maud is like was so funny and didn't really like believe that she just didn't like, she was like, you shouldn't be babysitting. Like she was kind of just like, I'm smarter than you, like kind of that attitude. And she was right. Like I was like a mess at that point in my life. And I think she just kind of like saw through me. But I remember she was like, challenged me to a swim off. And I was like, I'm going to show you who's boss now, girl. And I kicked off the wall and did a breaststroke kick, which that kick, you know the one. And my heel, Iris was behind us being like, I'll watch you guys. And I was like, yeah. And I didn't know she was going to like be right behind us. And I just bam, right in her eye socket, and was like, obviously lost the race because I had to tend to the child. So Maud won again. But no, I just remember like she's screaming and I'm like, oh my God, babe, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? And she was just like, ah! And she runs out of the pool and I'm like, oh no. And she runs off to get her dad, and which I would have done too. And he was so nice. I'll never forget how nice he was. And he was just like, because she's like, Nikki kicked me in the face. And he was just like very he like made it, he was very nurturing to her feelings while also not making me feel like I was like this demon babysitter, like hand that rocks the cradle kind of like, and you know what? Like it was just, he just handled it perfectly. And it was my biggest fear for him to ever be inconvenienced by my like lack of babysitting skills. So he was very cool about it. And but yeah, I used to babysit every day for this woman in Brentwood. This is before Apatow's. And oh my God, I did not like her and her kid. They used to watch this show called oh my God, what is it called? The only thing I got from this babysitting experience was there was this show that had animals. I mean, that is not narrowing it down, but it was a beautiful intro song to this kids show, which I bet parents listening are like, oh yeah, there's some kind of songs I do like Baby Shark we're all done with. But sometimes there's a little jingle that you're like, oh, that's so soothing. They kind of nailed it. Or it was called, oh my God, it was like these animals. It was like, oh, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna look for it on the break because I can't even begin to sing it. It's like, we're the Backyardigans. Noah, will you pull up the Backyardigans theme song? It's so cute and beautiful and soothing. But that's the only good thing I got from that gig. But I would always drive there every morning over the hill, about a 45-minute drive. I would get excited when there was traffic because it would be more Teresa, Adam, and what's his name in the morning? Danny Bonaducci. It was so fun. That was my first time I was like, I'm obsessed with this like gang and they're my friends. Wait, did you find the Backyardigans? Get ready. It's like this magical world and it's like these animals all singing in harmony and it's so soothing. And I think it's what you hear when you get to heaven. I think it'll be what I hear when I get to heaven. I mean, the whole world is all they do is just explore the backyard. Okay, this is a little bit more haunting than I remember. This is kind of maybe what you're going to hear when you get to hell. Wait, this harmony. The Backyardigans. Oh, that last part. I don't know what's so soothing about it. I just love it. Is there any like children's songs, Noah, that stand out to you? Like for children's TV shows? I had The Elephant Show. There was Eureka's Castle. Eureka's Castle. You would have loved Eureka's Castle. I feel like you are Eureka's Castle. Do you know that show?
Really? No, I don't.
And I don't know what I mean by you are Eureka's Castle, but like there's something about Eureka's. I think he maybe remind me of Eureka. I don't know. But that was a great puppet show, Muppet show. Wait, what shows did you watch as a little kid?
I watched Muppet Babies.
Oh, I mean, if we're going to talk about classic theme songs. Muppet Babies will do the same for you when your world is kind of weird and you wish that you weren't there. Just close your eyes and make believe and you can be. And it's so, I love, that one's a good one. It's like a doo-wop 50s one. Nanny, You Never See Her Face.
Yeah, you remember when they used to open that closet door and it would be another dimension?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was awesome.
I loved Fraggle Rock. I loved The Elephant Show. Do you remember that Skinnamarink Dinky Dink, Skinnamarink Doo? That was a weird one. That was like a Canadian one that was, I think Nickelodeon bought the rights to. Sorry to have this nostalgia bomb right now, but yeah, I used to always just listen to that morning radio show on the way to that stupid job. Oh man, I think one of my biggest regrets in life was I hooked up with a guy that I really liked, and I just was hungover and like didn't want to go to that job. And I was in Venice at his place, and I remember calling and lying to the woman, or texting the woman and lying and saying I had an audition and I couldn't make it. And I was supposed to be there in like a half hour, like real shitty, and lied. And I remember her being like, "This isn't cool. Like, we rely on you." And I was like, I mean, I really should probably try to find a way to reach out to that woman and apologize because that was a straight up lie. You don't need to lie, You know what it could, in that circumstance now, if I was hungover in bed with a dude, just didn't want to go, and I said I was going to go, first of all, I think I would just go now because I realize that you got to do that. But if I really didn't want to go, I would just say, I drank too much last night. I'm really ashamed to tell you this. I feel like hell today, and I would not be the best for your kids. Can I please possibly find a friend to replace me that would be, that won't hit them as much as I do? No, I'm making these jokes about the hitting because one time I did babysit a kid, and we had a tickle fight because that's what she wanted to do. And me and my sister, when we would have tickle fights, we would like pin each other down and like go, I would like get both of her arms pinned with my knees. I mean, it was almost sexual. It kind of there's a lot of gray area between tickling and this kind of subgenre I watch of porn called forced orgasms. And I'm really sorry to go from kids to like, I'm not trying to do that. But there's something fetishy about tickling, and I would never cross those wires with this kid. But I think that some of my like being tied down and like forced to do things, there's a tickle element to it. Even though I hate tickling and I would never want that. And whenever I see porn with tickling, I'm like, who the hell wants this? Anyway, I was tickling this girl. And you know how with kids, it'll go from like they're laughing to like they're like they hate it in like 1 second. And again, that can happen with sex where you're like, safe word, like, and it's just like, and I stopped immediately because she said pineapple or whatever the safe word was. She started like, I realized like she wasn't laughing, she was crying. And she was like embarrassed, I think that like, you know, she was like, that I like dominated so much. Cause like, yeah, I'm like a tickle fight champion. And I was like not an adult, but I was probably like 16. And I remember when her parents she wouldn't talk to me the rest of the time. I was like, I'm so sorry. She's so mad. Her parents got home and she was like, Nikki hit me. And I was like, it was just kind of my word against hers. And like, you got to believe the kid, or at least like honor that they're saying that, even if they are making it up. So I think the parents were just kind of like, okay, we'll deal with this, but like not happy with me. And I was like, we were tickling, and I guess I went too long. I didn't know. But I wrote a joke about it that I used to do that said, you know, a girl, I was tickling her and I totally won because I like smoked her, dude. I like way bigger. So of course she's like, such an idiot to challenge me. I was like doing this character, and I pinned her down and I was tickling her, and then she started freaking out and I stopped immediately. And then her parents came home and she was like, she hit me. And I was like, I did not hit her. It was a tickle fight. And they were like, you know what? We're just going to choose to believe our daughter, and we're not going to need to use you anymore. And I was like, okay. And so then I hit the girl because I'm like, listen, if you're going to think I hit her, I want to get one in. And that was my joke. But no, that girl is like 25 now or something. It's just ridiculous. And she still has those rug burns from that tickle fight to this day. I want to quickly address before we get Andrew in here. A bestie wrote me and said, do I have any advice for going to one of my shows alone? And let me say this. Let's get other besties who are going to shows alone to, I don't know, maybe at us on your stories.
Or Fanthrax, they could leave us a voicemail.
Great. If you're going to one of my upcoming shows alone, you could Fanthrax us. You could add us in our stories at Nikki Glaser Pod, and we'll repost it in the stories, and we'll maybe hook you up. But if you can't find another bestie, which that's almost like more scary, meeting a stranger than just going alone, I would say make friends with people next to you. Like, and maybe you have social anxiety that doesn't come easy to you. So girl who's going to my upcoming show alone, let's say you get in your seat and there's people next to you, because I've gone to Wilco shows alone, a lot of shows alone, and I felt what you're feeling before, where it's like people are going to think I couldn't find anyone, they're going to think I got stood up for a date, they're going to think I have no friends, they're going to think I'm like a weirdo that's going to like murder Nikki, because who goes to a show alone except like to assassinate, you know? You don't really bring a friend to go assassinate. That's why they don't let people go see that big thing in the Hudson Yards anymore, that big you remember that weird complex? People kept jumping off it and killing themselves. So now they've made it so you cannot go alone.
The Oculus or something?
What?
The Oculus, it's called?
Yes, I think that's what it's called. But it's interesting because they have a sign up now that you cannot buy a ticket to go up in it as one person. You have to go with two, because guess who never kills themselves? Someone who has a friend. So I don't mean to, well, this took a downward spiral swing. But if you're going to my show alone, if you've even bought the ticket and like aren't sure if you can even go because it's so scary to you, but you bought that one ticket, that means you have it in you to do this. And I really believe in you, and I've done it before too. You can do this. Go alone, sit there. Make conversation with the people next to you. If they look at you weird, if you have a feeling they're looking at you weird, say, I'm here alone. Have you ever heard Nikki say that people should go to shows alone? All my friends were working and couldn't afford it. It's just like, I just had to go. Will you guys be my friends? You know, anyone going to my show is going to be like, yeah, girl. In fact, oh my God, I went to see Dave Chappelle alone in 2002 or 3. My first comedy show ever. I wasn't even doing comedy yet, you guys. I had just started thinking about doing comedy. So my friend had just, this is how I got into comedy. Everyone was telling me I should be a comedian my freshman year of college. Sorry, I'm talking so fast. Slow it down if you want to, but I got to get through this before we bring in Andrew. So everyone was telling me I should do stand-up comedy. Eventually my friend walked into my room and was like, you're doing this. And she had a flyer that said like, my friend still has the flyer. She sent a picture of it to me. It was like March 16th. And it was like, at Old Main on University of Colorado Boulder campus, stand-up showcase. And she was like, you're doing this. And I was like, all right. So I signed up for it, and I signed up for it, and I was like, fuck, I don't even know what this is. I don't even watch stand-up comedy. Like, I've seen like the greats and stuff, but like, what the hell? So I Googled stand-up comedy Denver because it was near enough. Then I saw this guy, Dave Chappelle. This is, mind you, this is 2003. This is before Chappelle Show. This is before I hadn't seen Half Baked. I didn't know who this guy was. I look him up and I go, that's the guy from You've Got Mail. I love that guy. Kathleen Kelly. He's the guy on the treadmill next to Tom Hanks in You've Got Mail, who's like, and he's the one that sees Kathleen Kelly at the cafe and knows that it's Kathleen Kelly who Tom Hanks is talking to before Tom Hanks goes. And he goes up to the window and he's like, and Tom Hanks is like, what does she look like? What do you see her? And he's like, she's got the same coloring as that Kathleen Kelly girl. And he goes, all right, Kathleen Kelly, she's a good looking girl. Okay. All right. And he goes, yeah, I'll take that. He goes, because let me tell you, man, if you don't like the way Kathleen Kelly looks, you're not going to like this girl. And he goes, yeah, no, Kathleen Kelly's beautiful. And he goes, because it is Kathleen Kelly. And then he looks in and he's like, and Dave Chappelle, oh man, Dave Chappelle's so good in that. He's so funny. I went to go see Dave Chappelle for the first time as a stand-up because of You've Got Mail. I think I might be the only person in history who was a Dave Chappelle fan because of You've Got Mail and nothing else. And I went to Denver as a freshman in college. I took 4 buses because I was broke as fuck. In the inner city, it was in this part of Denver that I was the only white person. And I'm only saying that because it was true. And I'm not kidding you. I was one of the only white people at the show, if not the only one. It was like one of his block parties. There were people dancing on stage. I mean, it was not a classical stand-up show. But I went in and I made friends with other people there because they saw that I was alone and they adopted me in, and I felt like I made friends at the show. So I've been you, and people like being kind to people who are alone, and especially someone who's taking a chance like that. So just straight up be your bravest self. I know you have social anxiety. You can do this. Like I was saying on the podcast, you're not special to think, and I'm not talking to you, bestie, who wrote in, but if you think you have social anxiety and like, no, I can't do that. You could do that, but I can't, Nikki. If you have a voice, you have an able body, you can do this. Say, I'm at the show alone. Nikki always says to go alone, so I did it. I don't know what I'm doing. Will you guys like be my friend? And even if they're like, ew, no, them, and then enjoy the show and look to your left and ask that person. Because someone will be friends with you, I guarantee it. If they're not, I'll kick them out of my show. You can DM me and say the people next to me were rude, and I'll say we actually have to ask seat 26 and 27, row C to exit because you have COVID. We just found out you have COVID, and I'll kick them out if they're mean to you. Let's bring in Andrew. Andrew!
The stories that are affecting the Black community are being covered on the Black Information Network. Not a show or a podcast, BIN is a 24/7 news network covering stories from a Black perspective. Listen to the Black Information Network on the iHeartRadio app and get news for and by the Black community. Anywhere, anytime. Keeping you informed, keeping you engaged. The Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
For decades, this area has been a hotbed for paranormal sightings.
Jeremy! This is a strange place, this part of the country.
Ann, where are you?
Something about it just doesn't feel right.
Dad?
Strange things were happening back then, and strange things are happening again now.
I think I found something.
This otherworldly corner of southeastern Massachusetts, the Bridgewater Triangle.
iHeartRadio and Grim & Mild presents Bridgewater, starring Misha Collins, Melissa Ponzio, and Nathan Fillion. Created by Aaron Mankey and written by Lauren Shippen. Listen to Bridgewater now on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And learn more at grimandmild.com/Bridgewater.
I want to get back to being in my community group.
I want to continue having a soccer season.
So I can throw parties again.
So I can go to her parties.
It'd really be nice to dine in instead of getting delivery for a change.
So I can feel safe and protected for myself and my students.
We each have our own reason for why we're getting vaccinated against COVID-19. What will yours be? Visit getvaccineanswers.org for information on the COVID-19 vaccines. It's up to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hey everybody, I'm Aditi Kinkabwala.
And I'm Mike Yam, and we are the hosts of NFL Explained. It's the podcast where football fanatics come to learn everything they always wanted to know about football.
But didn't know who to ask.
Well, they can ask us now. And of course, we're going through all of these topics, Aditi. And I know you and I are so excited to start disseminating nothing but football nugs.
Well, and Mike, I've got questions of my own. Like, do you know why the Packers are named the Packers?
I do know that it has nothing to do with Pac-Man, and it has everything to do with cheese packing.
Not cheese, with meat packing. It was a meat packing company that put $500 up for the uniforms.
Or how about this? How about like what constitutes an actual catch in football, which I would imagine all my years of covering college football is a different answer now covering the NFL.
And unfortunately, Mike, I don't think that we will possibly have enough time to figure that one out.
But the point is, you're going to be able to join us every Thursday to talk about every interesting detail about the game we love. It's NFL Explained.
Listen on the iHeartRadio app, on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Good morning. It's nice to be back in the same room as you. It's been so long. I missed you.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me.
Sat in the chair and said I'm sorry. Well, no, that's been like 3 days. I think I apologize to you every other day. Hold me down. Think. You make it stop. Think. You think you're looking at something. I used to want to when you
learn all those words.
I mean, that was the first. I wanted to do a bit about it for a while, but the first rapping was that song for me.
Oh yeah,
you know, like I didn't listen to. My parents only exposed me. I only heard the music that was on the radio, and we didn't have a lot of R&B rap, like unless you were on that station in St. Louis. St. Louis is, very segregated, and like it's that radio station, and this is the way it used to be, and it still is. St. Louis, get your shit together, But yeah, I listened to Z107 or whatever the hell it was, and or Alice 101.1 Alice. I think it was like in reference to that book, Go Ask Alice, and she was like a druggie. Do you remember that book?
Alice in Wonderland, maybe.
Oh, maybe that. Yeah, I think even that Go Ask Alice, the book, was a reference to that. But anyway, yeah, BNL was that? No, was that Bare Naked Ladies?
Bare Naked Ladies, yeah.
I loved them.
I never heard them referenced as BNL.
Well, you know those stickers on cars that people used to have that have like
BNL.
3 letters? They're white circles with a black ring around the circle, white, and then it would be 3 black letters that would be like some kind of like DMB or like
FML?
Denver or yeah, but that was before FML. People would put them on their cars and it was kind of like a kind of like I like music, but I remember my friend Huffy had a BNL, and so was Bare Naked Ladies. But
they were so big. Huge. For like
I love them. I went to go see them at the Kiel Center. It was my first date.
I had $1 million.
My first date was the Bare Naked Ladies concert.
Okay, let's go into that.
I'm sorry to railroad this, but yeah, if I had
$1 million.
First date, I didn't even know it was a date, and I only mention this because he is famous, and you guys know I love dropping someone that like people would know. Colin Donnell. And he can maybe argue that it wasn't a date, but it was. And I didn't know it was.
How old were you?
I've probably a sophomore or junior.
Did he drive or were you riding?
Yeah, I think he picked me up and we went to the Kiel Center, which is now the Savas Center, which is now the, who knows, the fucking Smoothie King Starbucks Pavilion, AstraZeneca Alarm Center. So, no, but it was Bare Naked Ladies, and Colin Donnell is from Chicago Med, I think is the show. Chicago.
Oh, so he's a doctor.
In the show. He's so hot. Oh my God. He was the guy that got on, like, he was.
So
Macbeth.
Wait, so you're at the concert, it's just you two.
The Prince and Into the Woods.
What are you doing at the concert? Is he grabbing your hand? Are you listening?
No, we were friends. Like, we were in plays together, so I thought we were just like.
Well, he starred in it. You were a tree.
I mean, and there was, yeah. I'm
we
not
were
even
in
joking
plays
you.
together.
We were. I was in Into the Woods my freshman year. I was the only freshman in Into the Woods. Guess what? I had one line. Into the Woods is my favorite musical by far. And I'm obsessed with it because I learned so much about it because I was in that show. And I got in the show because a long story, like they
blew the director.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not that long of a story. Thank you for giving us the abridged version. No, that actually had happened with someone at
the
drama. My drama teacher from my middle school, who I did plays with, loved me, and I won like best female singer of like best musical performance in a play in 8th grade. And so I was like, okay, I'm set up to like really go into high school and like nail this musical theater thing. Even though I had no training, I was not a dancer, but I was like, that's going to be my thing. Like I just won this Milty, which we had little Oscars, and it said best. I still have it because I'm so proud. The one time I was acknowledged as a good singer until Sheila Dugan told my mom I didn't have it. So,
oh my God, that makes me so sad because like you, at one point in your life, you didn't have that barrier.
No, I was the best. And you just sang. I won for the best, and
I'm not trying to railroad this back to me, but I won a best singer in like 6th or 7th grade, and then I just didn't think I could sing again.
Did anyone ever think that you were listening to a podcast of the 2 best singers of 1997?
Before they hit puberty?
I mean, that's wild.
Yeah, my caretaker Jeffy.
Wait, is this just something that your nanny just drew up a piece of paper and wrote best singer of the house?
She taught me how to sing while she let me drive her truck when I was 12.
Cutie.
She was so awesome.
Aww,
she was awesome.
Thank God for
She's
people
like, you got to
that.
sing from your chest.
Dude, I'm gonna take singing lessons.
Anyway, so then you get into the play with this guy.
So no, I go to high school, and my drama teacher from middle school goes to replace the high school one with me. So like, it's almost like I go from 8th grade to 9th grade, and all of a sudden, the guy that loved me and put me in the plays, and like, I conquered my stage fright in 7th grade with To Kill a Mockingbird. My dad called. I was so scared. In 6th grade, I was having crippling anxiety, couldn't sleep, insomnia before presentations, shaking in front of the class. Had to go in and give presentations during recess to the ones in front of the class. I would have a special.
Why were you
setup.
shaking though? Do you
I couldn't
remember
handle
why?
It. My knees would shake so much, and then my
failure, afraid of failure. Because that's what I was. Yeah.
I wasn't. You know, who knows what it was, but it was just like I would start shaking, and I couldn't. My paper would shake, and I would have to memorize what I was going to say, so I couldn't hold the paper. Like teachers need to have more compassion for kids with anxiety and hold their hand through it, because that stays with you if you don't conquer it. And that's what I was like. I was kind of referencing it yesterday or 2 days ago when I was doing this reality show, which has really made a lot of people face their biggest fear and like a humiliating thing. And once you do that, you can do anything. Like if you really go into the thing you're most scared of and realize that, yes, it was humiliating. And, you know, you do Dancing with the Stars and you get voted off first. Like when I did Dancing with the Stars, I was like, you know what? What's the worst that could happen? Oh, the thing that happened. Yeah. Like literally. And guess what? It was the best. So like I thought at least on Dancing with the Stars, I'm not going to get last. Like I'm going to do this challenging thing and I'm not going to be best, but like I'm going to be better than I thought. No, I was as bad as I thought. You know, like sometimes you are as bad as you think. And those fears are real, but what isn't real is the fact that you're not going to be able to live with yourself after it. And if anything, you realize if I danced on TV, I can do anything. So what I did in 7th grade, and if anyone relates to this out there, I was just actually giving advice to a bestie who wrote to me saying she was going to go to the show alone. As I always tell people, go to shows alone if you can't find someone. Don't miss out on things in life. And she was like, do you have any advice? Because I'm getting nervous about it. And I love that she even bought the ticket. And that's the thing, buy the ticket. Here's the thing, you guys. That's what I did in 7th grade, and I didn't realize I did it until now. So I really wanted to be, in 6th grade, I discovered Jennifer Aniston on Friends, and I was starting to get into, it was mainly Friends. I was like, I need to be Jennifer Aniston. I found out she was 25. I was like, by the time I'm 25, I'm going to have a sitcom. I'm going to have that haircut. I'm going to be her. I'm going to wear little crop tops and wear an apron on TV and fall in love with a guy named Ross, and everyone's going to talk about us. I had that plan, and I was like, okay, so I have to get over this fear. And I couldn't. I didn't know what to do because I took a drama class because it was just required. And I ended up in this class again. I've never had insomnia in my life. I would stay up for days before it and lose my mind and cry to my parents. And I remember my mom saying, we are going to have to take you into something. My parents would always say that before I would just crack and go, okay, I'll do it. Or because it was too embarrassing to bring a specialist in. You know, I talked about the other day, Mrs. Pohl coming in and confronting me about wetting the bed, like being in trouble, having a specialist have to like be like, you're special.
I had that for my lisp. Yeah.
Yeah. How did that make you? Did you?
She only came twice. I think she quit because
you broke her.
I broke her. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes well, that was her Dancing with the Stars. She goes, my biggest fear is having a kid that I can't fix. And she did. And she's no longer with us.
But okay, keep going because I have something to say about it.
So then I go, this is my origin story. And I promise I won't cover it again. Of like, because I think this helps people because people don't understand. Like, they probably think I was always a class clown. I was always very open. Yeah. And it's just not that. I had to conquer this because I knew that the thing that I wanted, my biggest fear was standing in the way of the thing I actually wanted. And so many things that I read online about, you got to write down your goals. And if every day you're not doing things to take a step to those goals, just the tiniest step, then those aren't your goals. Then give up on those goals because you're always going to fall short. Or run into the fear and be like, I like it. And I'm going to be okay. I'm going to live. Getting voted off Dancing with the Stars, they don't behead you. I'll live, you know? My parents will still love me, maybe. I mean, barely after.
Yeah.
I mean, Noah saw me freak out in the trailer after I got voted off. I wish he would have been there, dude. It was a meltdown. I was in sequins, ripping off my eyelashes, throwing my mic, being like, "This is bullshit!" and so yeah, it was an ugly showing. But so I had this anxiety. My mom wanted to go. My parents were like, "For your birthday, we're gonna get you like lessons on how to like be." Because my parents were both. My dad's a performer. I think he wanted me to be so bad as well, badly, and as soon as they said that thing of like, we're going to bring a specialist in, because they also did that for me when I was sleeping on their floor until 8th grade. They were like, we don't know what, this is a problem, Nikki. And then I was like, okay, I'll go up in my room. Like, I just don't want anyone else to know about this thing. So I signed up to audition for To Kill a Mockingbird. It was in 7th grade. And it was like the, 6th through 8th grade gets to audition. Mr. Zoth, he was my drama teacher. He already knew about my anxiety because I had to give a presentation in his class. And my dad,
your mom already killed a bird, so you were ready.
What do you mean?
Didn't she already kill Peaky or whatever?
Wait, what does the bird have to do?
What was your bird? To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird. Oh my God, yeah, she killed a parakeet.
Yeah, so you were ready.
Oh, that happened in like 9th grade, but yeah, it was foreshadowing. Oh my God, that's so funny.
So go ahead. Sorry.
And we had a duck too that she left outside, and an owl took its life. And now I'm suspect of that whole story.
Did anyone see that?
No, but it was ripped to shreds on our deck. He brought it up to the railing and ripped it apart. That duck's name was, the time, in like 1998, my mom bought a duck at like how your mom buys a duck in 1998 during that time? No, it was during that time when the song on the radio was like, played by Carlos Santana, Maria. So for whatever reason, Kirsten, the funniest person in the world, we were trying to name this duck, and Kirsten was like, why don't we name it, its name is Carlos and Quackers. And we just named it Carlos and Quackers. So Carlos and Quackers would just walk around our backyard, and one night an owl got it. So my dad, I wanted the audition. I told my dad, I confessed to him, like, Dad, I really want to be in this play and I want to be an actress and I just don't know what to do. And the auditions were that day, and I was so nervous all day. And you used to have to audition. Everyone would sit in a circle and just get called to the middle of the room and pick up the scripts and read it and then sit down. Brutal. I'd never done anything like it. And I go to it and I can't sign up. I just watch and I can't do it. I just can't do it. And afterwards, I'm walking around the school because my friends were all like doing other activities too. I was waiting for them. And I called my dad from one of like the teacher's phones, and I was like, I couldn't do it, Dad. I can't. I was too scared. And he was like, Nick, I really want you to be able to do this. And as much as I will talk shit about my dad and my parents about making wrong decisions in my life, and as much as I probably would never want him to do this, and I was mortified, he called Mr. Zoth, my drama teacher, and he said, my daughter is terrified to, public speak, but she really, really wants to audition and be in this play. And he said, I'm sorry, we had the auditions, and like, that's kind of what this is. Like, if she's scared to do that. And I don't know what happened, but somehow, without an audition, Mr. Zoth let me be the understudy of the lead scout. The understudy, if, one of the 7th graders gets chicken pox. So Emily Hurster, Kate Hurster's sister, Kate Hurster was the best actress I've ever known, and I've shouted her out on You Up, and she's still acting professionally. Emily Hurster was so good too, but just didn't take that path. She was scout, and she was a 7th grade. She was a 6th grader. I was a 7th grader. I was her understudy. And I went to every play practice, and I remember the first time I had to get up and like do the lines and do it. It was terrifying, but I remember at some point, Mr. Zoth decided that the understudies, which were all the kids that were kind of like not as good, were going to have the Sunday performance. There was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then the Sunday one performance was the understudies, which was so nice of him. And I remember the feeling of like, there is this thing that's coming up that I have to do. I cannot get out of it. I've bought the ticket to the show. I can get out of it if I really, like, I'll regret it forever if I get out of it. Like the getting out of it, there is an exit strategy, but I'm locked in. I remember staying up at night thinking, I've done it. Like, that was the scary thing, was locking myself in. When you get on a roller coaster and it's not scary yet. You strap in, it starts going tick, tick, tick.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the scary part.
Anticipation.
The actual thing was awesome. My principal cried at my performance. My parents were like deeply moved. Everyone was like, this is your thing. And I finally, like, that was the same kind of feeling I felt after I had long realized acting wasn't my thing, and that when I found comedy, but it was like, yes, like, this is what I'm meant to do.
But do you think that, then why, Why that sentence? Acting isn't my thing. Because I've heard you say that before.
Because it was the performance part of it. It was like being on, and like it is honestly, I'm a better actress than 99.999% of the general population. But the people that make it in acting are the 0.000000001% of those people
whose mom is Kate Hudson or whatever.
Yeah, and a lot of times, but because it's in their blood and they grew up with it. But I didn't have the commitment to it. I didn't have the obsession with like getting into character.
Do you think it helped that they were all understudies that performed with you, as opposed to you being the only understudy?
It was just that certain roles had understudies. Yeah. So I remember some of the actors that were like, I remember Calpurnia, who played my nanny in the play, did not like me as much as she liked the other scout. So I was like the redheaded stepchild of the scouts.
Yes.
But I remember being like, Calpurnia, what's rape? And she was like, it's carnal knowledge of a female by force. I'm like, what's that? What's carnal? Like, and I did remember not learning what rape was like in that, but it was just one of those moments.
So while you were performing, though, you didn't forget any lines?
No, I was
just
perfect.
Crushed it.
Crushed it. And like, you know.
What did you feel after that?
Like I had a purpose finally, and that I had conquered something that was truly, I mean, none of my friends are actresses or wanted to be in entertainment, but they could give they were nervous before presentations, but not like this nervous.
I know. So then what? So then
shaking legs. I don't know. It was, you know what it was? It was just setting the date and saying, by this, signing up for the marathon that you are not in shape for. Down the road, giving yourself ample enough time to do it, and even if you procrastinate to the last fucking second to prepare, because sometimes I do that. I'll say, yeah, I'm going to do Dancing with the Stars. What the fuck am I doing? The time before it started was so much worse even than during it, you know?
So to bring it back, then you end up, do you try out for a lot of plays, or you end up with the plays with the guy with the bare naked lady?
So then I go into 8th grade. I get cast in the musical. I fucking nail it. I get a Milty Award for Best Singer. I played this teacher in this thing, but this is 8th grade. I mean, my competition, I probably auditioned against 5 girls or something. Like, it's not a big deal. But Mr. Zoth loves me, right? Like, he's really is like a father kind of figure to me, and because he was sexually attracted to me, and so he no, I'm just kidding. He was so sweet. So then he transfers to high school with me because he's replacing.
This is the perfect scenario.
I go, oh my God. So he walks into a situation where the Kirkwood High School theater department is like, that's the big leagues. As big as it was like Broadway, right? And I was walking into something that I was way out. I mean, these people had been acting since they were children. Like the people that did theater in high school, that's like, middle school is like a little hobby and was like what the dorks do. But in high school, it's what the talented dorks do. Yeah. And so I walk in, and so Mr. Zoth introduces me to the musical director, Mrs. Flash, who is now dead. God rest her soul. But like when I first found out she died, I was kind of like,
yeah, we don't want her to rest too much.
No, that woman struggled a lot, and I'm guessing she had addiction issues that I wasn't aware of at the time. She caught me smoking weed one time. It was awesome. But anyway, I'll tell that's enough for another time. To make this very quick, as soon as possible. So in less than 60 seconds. So he gets to school. He convinces Mrs. Flash, who does not like this guy. I don't even realize the dynamic. He's coming in and redoing the whole thing. Their old musical director was this like Me Too guy that ran everything with an iron fist. He got fired under circumstances of hooking up with a student, but no one knew why he was fired, so everyone was resentful that he was fired out of nowhere, right? No one knew. And he probably was having an affair with this woman too. That's just, allegedly. So he convinces Flash, is like, this girl is going to be our next like big thing. We need to put her in the musicals. So freshmen do not get cast in musicals. There's no understudy roles, but he convinced her to put me in Into the Woods. So I'm the only freshman, I'm the only underclassman, sophomore or freshman, in Into the Woods. And I'm so excited. So that's how I met Colin and all these people that were, Colin went to Broadway, Shannon McShane, Kate Herster, I just want Libby something, Kip Taylor.
Paul Rudd, John Hamm, yeah.
No, in case these people are listening, I just know that they would appreciate a shout out. These people were truly so talented, never could touch their talent. And Laura George, so but they were so sweet to me, some of them were cunty, but especially Mrs. Flash never was nice to me. Such a bitch. I was only trying to be nice and like stay out of the way. My role was Snow White. Do you remember Snow White in Into the Woods? Exactly, because she's only in the musical version. She comes in at the very end in the finale. Only one scene, and I am I'm the prince is like a womanizer.
Yeah.
And he's like kind of outed as like he's not faithful. So at the end he has Sleeping Beauty and Sleeping Beauty. No, it's Snow White. He has Sleeping Beauty and Snow White, who are just like put on as like, oh, obviously this guy's fucking the other two princesses in the world. And I brought in and I now realize it was like a sex joke where we like kind of yawn, like we just like woke up because we had a threesome with him, and we go, oh, excuse me, and then we dance with everyone for the final thing and like sing along. I had no idea how to sing in harmony. I had no idea how to dance, and that was my role. And then that's how I met Colin. And then I was never cast in a musical again the rest of the time because I didn't like dancing, and you had to dance, and I was terrible at it.
Did you sign up?
Yeah, and that's how I know all the Les Mis songs, because I had to learn them to audition. And West Side Story, I would audition. I mean,
so you did audition again?
Yeah,
you just never got it.
And then I never got anything. I auditioned for Anne Frank, which I thought was going to be my pivotal role, like my sophomore year. It was like the sophomore play. I thought I was going to get it. That's when I got Jewish Townsperson B instead, when I thought I was going to get Anne Frank. I didn't get like her sister or her mom. I got Jewish Townsperson B. So I quit the play. I played field hockey, and I played, I wasn't a forward I was Jewish Townsperson B on the team. That was my joke back in the day. And so I was like on the sidelines, like equal importance. I know this is way longer than 60 seconds.
It's all good.
So then at the end, in my senior year, I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do? I'm not getting any plays. I was doing like little things here and there, but none of the big roles in any of the big productions. By the time you're a senior and junior, if you're good, you're getting stuff. I mean, and Jamie Nash was such a good actress. Shout out to Jamie. Leslie Lammers, Kate Herster. I mean, all these girls were just like leagues above me in terms of talent. Jessica, what's her, Bessington? Fuck, I forget your name. Doesn't matter. So I'm like feeling like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like, again, I'm like back down to like, I'm not talented. I'm kind of like fat. I don't know what's going on. And then there's this play that happens that is just the senior production in the black box. So they threw us a bone. There was a big production, the big suit thing. I didn't get that. Then the black box theater. And it was
like
a thing
off Broadway of the high school.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was called I forget what it was called, to be honest with you, but there was a role of a woman. It was a comedy, and it was a role of a woman who was like a booze hound. It was the 1940s, the comedy murder musical of 1940s. And it wasn't really a musical. It was like we were playing actors that were in a musical or something. It was a murder mystery, but I was a total alcoholic, like kind of, I played her like, Will and Grace, like that woman that talks like this and is like friends with Jack. She's like kind of like, she's a rich debutante, but a booze hound. And I fucking killed it. And I remember Mr. Zoth told me, you're the best comedic actress I've ever like seen in a production. And he'd been working forever. He told my best friend's dad, who was our principal, who had also transferred from the middle school to the high school with us, that I was the best comedic actress. Like, so then I got another thing of like, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing, comedic actress. And everyone goes, Nikki, and I'd never been drunk before. So I was playing a woman and I didn't know how to be drunk. And I remember people going, I remember Mrs. Florman, Kirsten's mom, being like, I know you've drank before, because that was too convincing. And I was like, I just did an impression of my mom.
Yeah.
Like it was, and there's a trick to acting when you're to act drunk. You just try to act like you're not drunk. You try to act like a drunk person who's trying to be sober, and that's how you act drunk. That's the trick. But I remember being like, oh, I just acted the way I think my mom acts, because that's the only person I know who like changes when they're drunk. And I remember my mom really hating that. But thank you, Mom, for that. And that's my origin story. Sorry it took so long. Let's get to the news.
I love that, dude.
We'll do yours tomorrow.
I mean, mine's pretty much the exact same story.
Is it really?
No.
Oh.
Would that be?
Well, that's how I know Colin.
No, there is some ways, but yeah, no, I love that you audition multiple times though, and it goes back to yesterday's pod about like situational like things. Like if they put you in a comedy, I would have
found it right away.
Yeah, but that wasn't a comedy. What roles weren't in high school?
No, I mean some, or in middle school and stuff. But
all
in all, chickadee China, the Chinese chicken. You have a drumstick. Okay, here's the news.
Did you kiss him that night?
No, I didn't.
I know.
You heard it here first. Yeah, you heard it here first.
Oh man, I hope you guys are having a great Sunday out there, having all the swells.
But seriously, Googled Colin Donnell, you guys, girls out there. Donnell. He's so hot. He's married and happy now, but he was like on Broadway forever. And now he's on this like really popular. I always forget the name. It's like one of the Chicago Med, I think.
Yeah, that's a name of a show.
You'd recognize him. He's so fucking hot.
I hope you're having all the swells. Okay, so first story: a Simpsons prank was pulled on a Virginia school board during a public meeting.
Daring. Do you just pick headlines with daring in the title?
No. Hey, sometimes I go for it.
Wait, truth or dirt? Truth or dare. Wait, truth
Truth
or
or
dare.
Truth or dare.
We should play a segment called Truth or Dare.
Dare.
Because when you were saying dare yesterday, I converted it to dare. So I was like, why does he keep asking me what's the worst dare I've done? Okay, so daring a Simpsons. Wait, say it again.
So just
I'm so sorry.
Simpsons. So
No, that's my
Someone
fault.
played a Simpsons prank on a Virginia school board. So you could sign up names that they have to read
like
online. Yes.
Like Moe's Pub.
So they did.
Good.
Phil McCracken.
You wanna
I
hear
leaned
some of
over. So yeah, we could play.
Yeah.
It. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I saw this on Reddit and I didn't watch it because it looked boring.
Phil McCracken.
Shut up.
Phil McCracken. Sook Mahidic.
Sook my dick.
Oh my God.
Ophelia McHawk.
This reminds me,
Ophelia
I saw another.
McHawk.
I saw one yesterday. This girl on TikTok, she gets pulled over by a cop, and it's not real. She just got a cop friend to do it. But he pulls her over, and he's like, "Ma'am, can I get your full name? Like, what's your? Like, give me your ID. And ma'am, give me your full name." And she was like, it's Frida." And he goes, "Frida, okay." And she goes, "Last name?" And she goes, "Go." And he goes, "Frida, go." And she goes, "Thank you, sir." And then he pulls off. There's another one the other day where a guy was on Omegle. You know the thing that
Oh yeah.
Ali McCoskey does, where it's just random people come up and it's almost like chat roulette. And this guy goes on, and there's this like very woke like young girl he's like this black guy who's like, "So do you know about my like he was using words that I don't even recall, but like ascribed name, or like, you know, when people change their names for their gender, it wasn't even that. Like there's a born name and then there's like your new name. I forget what it's called." And she was like, "Yeah, I'm aware of that." And he was like, "Well, I'm like, you know, I'm non-binary and I go by like, you know, my birth name is like Paul, but like I go by like," and then he said the N-word in like two different slices, and he was like, "So like, can you just tell me like what you would call me like if we were talking?" She was like, "Oh, I would call you," and then she says, and then you see her go because she accidentally said it. It's really funny because he's just it wasn't mean spirited as much as like he just kind of tricks her into accidentally saying the N-word.
I mean, do you remember this when The Simpsons, when that shit came out? I mean, that really, it made prank calls probably quite, I don't know, go up 3,000%.
Yeah, I was thinking that
we thought
yesterday.
it was so funny, but it really is so funny when it's like, this guy is so serious. It only works at a time like this.
When someone is so like one of my favorite ones is what is I think you've probably seen this on TikTok. Wait, no, I think I did it on my U Up podcast. So you
Are you about to get me to say the N-word?
No, I promise.
Oh, okay.
Okay, what is the word YES?
Yes.
Now say the word EYES.
Eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
but
did
someone
see
goes,
it. Yeah, EYES.
Yes.
Yes.
You guys, if you haven't heard this, please do it to your friends. Go, repeat after me. It's like, say what I'm spelling. YES. And they'll go, yes. And then say EYES. And they'll go, ES. And there's this one guy that cannot do it.
Figure it out.
And his girlfriend is laughing so hard. He's like, what? ES? ES. Yes. ES. And she's like, dude, EYES. He's like, yes. And he's like, and he starts laughing because he's like, why are you laughing? Like, and then he goes, oh my God, eyes. It's so cute. I love those things. If you guys have one of those things, will you voice message them in to the pod? It's in our bio at Nikki Glaser Pod, and leave us ample space. Don't leave us space because Noah can toggle it. But I would love for us to do those live on air.
You know what else is great that I think we'd have a lot of fun, and it's kind of in the same vein. Do you remember those things like, oh, there's a puddle on the ground, there's a person dead in a cabin,
like
there's a puddle on the ground, what happened?
It's always like ice and like
he hung himself on ice.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So like this guy,
riddles.
Yeah, riddles, and we got a guy driving us, me and Brenna, over the weekend, and he started just giving us riddles. I'll try to think of one really quick. So they're a father and son get in an accident. The father dies. The son shows up. The doctor goes, "My son." How's that possible?
Because the doctor's a woman. and it's his mother. I've heard that one before.
Dude, I didn't get it. I felt like such...
Yeah, because you come from a line of like
misogyny, doctor.
I mean, but that, I love those ones that
Noah didn't know. You could tell Noah didn't know.
No, because you just think a doctor's a man.
Yeah, I know. If he said nurse, you would have got it right away.
Right away. It's so
wild. Yeah.
I love those ones that, hold up a mirror to us, and it's like, you're not, that's the thing when people go, I'm not racist, and it's like, I'm not a misogynist. It's like, it's not, there's a difference between intentional and unintentional. Like, those kinds of things where you go, you would never say that a woman couldn't be a doctor, yet your brain did a thing.
I literally said it.
There's a really good one on Reddit right now.
I go, it's got to be a stepdad. That's what I thought. You know what I mean?
That's so funny.
I thought maybe the doctor they both died and he was just an angel. I had all these thoughts, except
remember
for
my
a woman.
sociopath test?
Oh, yeah,
Wait,
yeah,
hold
yeah.
on. I want to play this one for you. Hold on. Let me just pull this up because this one is so good. So this is a guy that gives a prompt for a TikTok. Oh, my God. This guy's really cute, too. The guy that answers it. I'm, very attracted to him for some reason.
Okay, so this is a riddle?
No.
Oh.
Okay.
What's a song lyric?
What's a song lyric? What's a song lyric that took way too long for you to figure out what the actual lyric was? There's a white guy standing in the mirror asking that, and this is the TikTok response.
What's a song lyric it took way too long for you to figure out what the actual lyric was?
All right, this one necessarily isn't one that I got wrong, but
look how hot this guy is.
I still hear it to this day
There's
after finding out about it. If you listen to the song "Live Your Life" by T.I. featuring Rihanna, you can hear one of two things. Either one, you can hear Rihanna saying, "I'm a paper chaser," or if you really want to trick your brain into hearing it, you can hear her say, "'Cause I'm a big fucking slut." And I thought it was bullshit until I heard it. Let me show you.
What? I'm a big... Here we go. Did you hear it, Noah? Cause I'm a big fucking slut.
Dude, that's like the blue
it's the
dress.
red and blue dress
yeah.
and the Yanni and Laurel.
Dude, our brains are fucking
and
weird.
I read all about it in the comments about why that is. And it's because your brain makes so many times in your during the day, your brain fills in the gaps because you don't have all the information. And in that song, when she says, I always heard paintball chaser. Cause I'm a paintball chaser. And she really, that's what it sounded like to me. But when he says big fucking slut, you go, there's no way that paper chaser sounds like big fucking slut. But she goes, cause I'm a big fucking slut. And it's like, every time I hear the song now, I think of that.
Did he change the words?
No, dude, it's not because if your brain and if you didn't hear it during it, it's more about reading it. So go just look up paper chaser,
dude,
big fucking
wild.
slut, and when you look at that TikTok, your brain will hear big fucking slut. Did you hear it?
Yes, I heard it
It's
like
wild.
exactly.
Yanni.
The word "hey jealousy" I thought was hair jealousy, and I bet my brother like $20 that it was hair jealousy.
Why? I guess hey jealousy is just as weird as hair jealousy.
I don't know why.
And I think mostly men would really resonate with a song called Hair Jealousy.
Especially
we
my
could
brother.
travel around this town, ask men what they're doing for their crowns, thinking if they're doing Rogaine or Propecia. I'm jealous of his hairline. Hair jealousy.
Joe Rogan.
Hair jealousy.
Okay, you ready? Next
Hair
door.
jealousy. Oh, I love that song. Holy, I'm going to add it to my Spotify right now. Okay, keep going.
You know what I remember? You know what's a big moment when you're a kid?
Trust me not.
When you get a shotgun with your brother all the time, and I'm sure your sister probably got shotgun with you when you drove, and then the first time...
No, my mom always called it. I'm just kidding.
Oh, no, but then the first time you had a boyfriend, or my brother had a girlfriend, and I had to be moved to the back seat, that's a big moment in your life where you're like, fuck you, you're my brother. Why am I moving to the back for this girl?
I will give you an example. Like, my dad always lets me ride shotgun when my mom and me are driving in the car with him.
Interesting.
He always is like, Nick, you sit up front. And I go, no. And he goes, why not? And I go, because she's your wife. And he goes, she doesn't care. And she goes, yes, I do. I want to sit up front. And he goes, Nikki never drives with us. And I go, she is your wife. I'm not sitting up front. Like, how, like... There's times where that happens where I'm the one that's like, no.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
And you like riding in the back.
Yeah, he can't kiss me from there.
She's your wife, and I'm your girlfriend. All right. After his credit card declined, a customer left the store and returned with a gas can, the contents of which he poured on the floor and set a fire. He then drove off as the store manager put out the fire.
What?
He got caught. He was underneath a car with a hammer later on and had a standoff. out of Lowe's.
This guy stole a credit card, or he forgot his credit card at the store?
It doesn't say if the credit card is stolen. It just got declined.
And then he came back and
you know what it was?
He light the system on fire. That
he probably just traveled to Barcelona and he came back. And you know when you spend money,
he didn't call the bank yet and let him know. And he probably had jet lag and was. You know what? Sometimes you get off a flight and you're bleary-eyed and you go get a gas can and you go back and try to torch a Home Depot and then you hide under a car with a hammer. It really will mess you up. Because in his time, it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And back in Atlanta, it's 11 a.m.
Yeah,
it's very confusing. That is hilarious.
It's
people's anger and what they do with it. Like, there's so many steps. Like the woman on my flight that I was talking about yesterday that got kicked off. Like, the moment between him going, "Ma'am, you're off this flight," and her being able to go, "I'm really sorry I cussed at you. I'm having a rough day." She could have de-escalated it, but instead she goes, "What? I didn't cuss at you." And that choice that she made to do that made it so she didn't make on the flight. Like, he made the choice to escalate it to you're getting kicked out of the flight, but she could have de-escalated. I really believe she could have gotten on that flight if she would have said, "Dude, I'm so sorry. Kids, come here. Put on that mask. I didn't mean to. I was molested." And I'm not like you know.
No, but I get your point. Like, if this guy, let's say he was buying a soda, right? Like $2.
Yeah.
Maybe the guy behind the counter goes, "Look, I see that you're having a rough time with this. Let me just buy this for you. Just take it."
Oh, I'm not even saying the cashier could have de-escalated. I'm saying that guy made a choice in that moment to not just go and get out of there. Like, he had to go purchase something, go hey, what aisle is the blowtorches? What aisle is the gas cans? Go to Amco, fill it up, go, and the card gets declined again at the gas pump. Then he has to go, and it goes, "See, cashier," and he has to go inside. Like, so many steps to decide to do something that crazy.
Yes.
As opposed to the other day I was walking down the street and there was
But your card's been declined. It fucking pisses you off, especially if you have money in there. If you have money in there.
But it's what you do in these moments, you can de-escalate.
Yes,
even the other day I was walking, I was, on my phone and I had somewhere to be and I had to be on a call and Luigi was pulling me and all these things and I had my coffee and I was worried about spilling it. And there was this group of tourists, which never happens in this, where we live, just clogging the street. And these kind of dumb kids just drooling and looking at the big
all the time in New York, yeah.
And I just was, and I go, "Excuse me." I go, "Oh, just sitting in the, not even acknowledging that people could be walking through." I said some shitty thing, and I'm like, I didn't need to do that. Because what that did wasn't what I wanted it to do. It made that person feel stupid, but it probably made that person think St. Louis
What did they say?
Suck.
They probably said sorry right away.
I had my earphones in, so what a passive-aggressive thing. I couldn't even hear them, and I just kept walking.
Wow.
So, I had no consequences. I was a cunt. So, as on behalf of people that may have done that to you, where I go, "Excuse me, can I just apologize for that person?" and say, it's sometimes when I don't pick up Luigi's poop because I don't have a bag, the next day I'll pick up someone else's shit to make up for the one I left. And I want to do that right now. So if you have had someone go past you and be like, "Excuse me, I was that person. I'm really sorry. So let me take that away. Let me apologize because it could have been you."
Yeah, so many times I do that. And
I was having a bad day.
And I'll get furious at the person and be like, "How can they not be self-aware? How can they not know this?" And then they apologize in a way where they're like, "You're right. I wasn't self-aware at the time. I thank you for letting," and they're so apologetic, and you're like, "I'm such a fucking dick." My
reaction was the problem.
Yeah, it's just
even yesterday, when you got you were having a little bit of a road rage moment because you were trying to get home.
I calmed myself.
Yeah, you did. You were great.
I did good.
But you did honk at the person first. A lot.
That guy, he could have killed us.
But what I'm saying is even honking, I think is not good. And I know you're like, "Well, he needs to know." He knows. How many times have you just been in a rush and taken a chance when you know? And we had ample time to. There was.
You weren't looking.
Yes, I was, and I saw it from the get-go. I'm not saying I would have done differently. I saw a Geico save 40% or whatever on insurance. So I saw, but even honking and being like, "Oh, I need you to know that you fucked up." How many times have you done things in traffic and fucked up? But I'm just.
No,
I know you have.
I'm kidding. But
where
yes.
you've got when someone's honked at you and you've been like, "I'm sorry. Today, let me just ask you, listening to everyone listening, I want to make the world a little bit better. If someone cuts you off, and maybe they're doing it intentionally, just think of a time where you accidentally did the wrong thing in traffic because you were, the Louis C.K. thing of "But I need to go there and I want to," and he's like, "Well, you can't." And sometimes women are just like, "But I want to," and traffic, and he's like, "No." Sometimes just think about the time when you were that and how much you didn't want someone to honk and just wanted someone to slow down and just be like, "Nah, it happens to me," and just let them go. Let's lay off our horns today just for one day, unless there's a child crossing and you need to alert someone of something. as opposed to being like, I want you to know you're
No,
a dick.
even then, kill the child.
We're going to take a short break. Be nice during this break. Listen to our advertisers, and we'll be right back with Why Do I Care?
Get your tickets now for the daytime stage at our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Samsung Galaxy.
Saturday, September 18th at Area 15, Las Vegas's new entertainment and events complex. A mind-blowing experience.
The hottest new stars from all genres of music perform live on the daytime stage.
Don't miss The Babies, Olivia Rodrigo,
The Kid Leroy,
Sweetie,
All Time Low,
24K Golden,
Russell Dickerson,
Youngblood,
Gabby Barrett,
Tate McRae,
Conan Gray,
Addison Rae, and more. The biggest artists in music come together for one weekend in Las Vegas.
Get your tickets for our 2021 iHeartRadio Music Festival, including the daytime stage at AXS.com.
Presented by Samsung Galaxy. Samsung wants to remind you that on August 11th, there's only one question you should be asking yourself. Are you ready for this life? Something big is brewing. Find out more at Samsung.com/reserve.
Andrew, why do I care?
Why do I
Why
care?
do you care, Nick? I think you're going to care about this one if I was a betting man.
Yes.
Okay, Lance Bass is lobbying ABC to do an all-gay version of The Bachelor. And he wants to host it. He threw that out there, so.
Yeah, he's doing the Bachelor in Paradise. He guest hosted.
Oh, and
so
apparently
that's
they're doing Senior Bachelor?
Oh, yeah, I saw those casting for that.
How old?
I think like 33.
Really? Is that what it is? Oh, I was like.
No, they'd never go that old. So I think 27 is tops for that. No, I would love to watch I'm very excited about the Senior Bachelor. Yeah, I'm down for a gay bachelor for sure, because I think there's so many assumptions we have about especially gay men's relationships and how monogamy works in their in their relationships, because a lot of times, men, as we know, are not as monogamous as women naturally. And, I was even with a gay man this weekend and asking him about, he just recently was divorced. And I was like, so what are you looking for? And like, when you're in a relationship, do you guys sleep? I had a lot of assumptions that gay men are like, like they're fine. You can fuck anyone you want because we understand. I get it. You have a dick, I have a dick, and I'm not going to get jealous. But that's not the case. And, I think that ABC might be scared to do an all gay one, even though it would get a lot of press. I think they do it one time just to get that's just my assumption of people that just everything's motivated by money. And if people aren't going to watch it, I think ABC would think people wouldn't enjoy it as much, because how can someone relate? How can girls, our main audience, relate to gay guys looking for love? But the truth is, and I've been a straight girl that's watched gay things or gay love stories, Brokeback Mountain or Call Me By Your Name.
Yeah, the two of them.
I mean, honestly.
I know.
Can you think of others?
No, I can't.
There's the one, what's it called? The one that won Moonlight.
Moonlight, yeah.
I didn't see that one, though.
What's the one with the birdcage?
Yeah, Birdcage. But that I'm talking about, like, really romance.
Yes.
Romance
No,
movies.
yeah, no, I see what you're saying, though. Like,
I
our
went into those being like,
yeah.
I'm not going to get that. I'll watch it because it's a good movie, but I'm not going to be, like, moved like I am with You've Got Mail. Au contraire. Like, love is love, and I always knew that. It's not like I'm like, gay love's different. It's just like you want something that you can put yourself in. Boy, I could put myself in Armie Hammer and, Chalamet. Whether or not it's a gay relationship, there's a yin and yang, and you can put yourself in one of those, of the past, the receiving, or the masculine or the feminine. So if you think you can't resonate with a gay love story, you're wrong. And man, the reality show I did over the weekend, it's like, you would think, I wish I could like talk about it. Let me just say it in these terms. It's about a thing that you would only think women would enjoy watching. All right. That you only think if a man possibly went to, it was a reality show competition based on a type of performance that is usually geared towards women liking it. And there were men at the show, at the live show that I went to, at the finale. There's this big show, and they like debut for this big audience. I was in Vegas. It's like I don't think it's any secret that this is like I can probably reveal it's a long running show in Vegas that people are not necessarily competing to be in, but are a part of. And so at the finale, instead of it was being a small challenge, it was the actual big show that these people were in. And I thought it was just going to be what's opposite of Sasha's Fest? Sasha's Patty Fest?
Pussyville.
Arby's 2 for $2.50.
A beef.
Yeah, beef
pound?
and cheddar.
Beef
Yeah.
pound?
Yeah.
A beef party.
Bubblegum Bubbalooza. Sometimes your clit looks like bubblegum or your clitoral hood.
Chewed. Yeah.
Yeah, chewed gum. Okay, so I thought it was going to be that, but there were straight men there. And even Emil, who I brought along with me, was very inspired by it, not awkward at all, like almost like guys liked it more than the girls, straight guys. And it was something that is geared towards straight, heterosexual, horny women.
Yeah.
Maybe you can catch my drift here. And let me just say, I could not believe there were even men in the crowd. And I thought, surely those guys are gay. They weren't. I jerked them all off and they liked it. So that's how I test.
But you can have man hands.
That's true. Well, I did it with my feet. So, and I got my dad's feet. So, all right. Well,
Crow's
that
feet.
checks out. Crow's feet.
Do you think? Yeah, I think it would be great. Now, does it have to be under? I guess if it's under the Bachelor umbrella as opposed to its own individual thing, it gives it more weight. I guess
And I think it would be a love story.
What's that?
So what's funny is, so this story I got from Queerty, which is like a well-known like gay like site, and a lot of the people in the comments, the gays, are like, we don't want this. And can I read you a really funny comment?
Yes, please. I love funny online comments.
Okay, so someone writes, maybe a gay Love Island could work, but a gay Bachelor, it would just end up being all the contestants hooking up with each other and leaving the Bachelor holding his bouquet of roses in an empty room.
Yes! Who doesn't want to watch that?
Which I
First
would
of all,
love
that
to
sounds
watch.
very fun, but that's exactly to your point. Even though I know it's a joke, but it's the assumption of like that it wouldn't be very similar.
But that would be interesting, though, to see like what would happen with. I think they would do a good job casting it to find gay men that actually want monogamy and like prefer it, mixed with guys that do live that lifestyle of like being just like horny dudes. And I love that idea because how interesting would it be? There's only been one occurrence that I remember on The Bachelor where the two girls in the house end up liking each other and like have a thing. And I think it happens after the fact. It's kind of revealed after the Bachelor rose ceremony or whatever. But I mean, I would love because there's something so like annoying about everyone
because
fighting.
the guy's competing against all the other guys as opposed to just being
So
the
two guys
only
might
girl.
hook up about a guy and be like competing for the. I think it would be great.
Yeah, I'm down.
What do they give out instead of roses?
Condoms.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful,
PrEP.
tasty condoms.
Do you know what PrEP is?
Yeah.
The AIDS thing?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it, but like, Emil and I were talking about how like sex is so intimate and how girls get attached and how some guys get really bonded from sex as well. And, I've heard people make this point before, but he's like, yeah, if someone were inside me, I would be very like bonded to that too. It's like different than going inside something as opposed to like letting something in you. It's like very much more invasive. And
it's like letting someone into your house as opposed to going and visiting someone else's house.
Yeah, you can leave when you want. Whereas, like, it's going to be awkward for me to kick you out, and I'm worried that you might wear your shoes inside, and it's going to be weird. Where it's like you have to wear shoes in my house.
Yeah, and your shoes are STDs that you're leaving in my house.
Yes, the dirt that you bring in, and my Roomba is broken, and my immune system is my Roomba. But and we were talking about women. Women tend to get HIV sooner than and gay men because they're being cummed into as opposed to like getting it when you put something in. Like if you just get squirted into, that's a better chance of getting the thing in you than like getting it ciphered. You guys have less cum on your dick than we have in us because we have cum too.
It's just hard to get cum through a little hole. Because my dick hole is small, and it's hard to creep up the dick hole.
It's easy to get it out. All right, guys, let's play Finish My Sentence. It's a Wild Card Wednesday. That's where we just pick a segment that we want to do. Just Finish My Sentence. That's where me and Andrew try to complete each other's sentences and predict how we would finish this sentence. And then I think Noah judges to see who she thinks is the most right. I forget how we play this.
Someone that ends up in tears is.
This usually breaks us apart and leads us to Andrew going on Zillow and looking for apartment matches.
There's some nice ones.
Yeah. In the same building. That would be kind of fun.
It'd be hilarious.
I don't think they have studios here. Okay. Storage unit. You could do the storage unit downstairs. All right. The Finish My Sentence today. Noah, what is it?
My biggest regret is.
My biggest regret is. Okay. I will go first. I am Andrew Collin. Man, I have a regret. Man, I don't even want to go there, but I have something that I think you're gonna regret if you don't do something about it now, but I don't even want to go there because it's too fraught, and you could probably do the same for me.
Jesus.
Okay.
Wait, what's that regret?
It's this, and you know what I'm projecting? It's that someone who I think isn't going to be around that much longer, I'm not talking to enough, and I'm going to regret that I didn't call them enough. It's my Aunt Sally, honestly.
Oh.
That's my biggest regret right now. That's a future regret that I could remedy today by
my
calling
mom.
her.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
And it's like, but you know
that
what?
might make me call her. Thank you for that. I
Really?
should call her.
I'll
yeah.
call Aunt Sally today too. And it's not because I love talking to Aunt Sally. And when you talk to your mom, it's not that painful, but it's like it's the fear before it.
Well, it's also the fear that they're gonna die, and every time you talk to them,
It might be the last, or like their lives are just like so sad that you get sad hearing about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry to bring that up. Okay. My biggest regret is bringing that up.
No, that's a good one.
I think I'm Andrew Collin, and my biggest regret is not starting stand up sooner.
Ooh. And I'm Nick. Oh yeah, and then I go.
I think you say. Wait, yeah, you do mine.
I'm Nikki Glaser, and my biggest regret is.
Wait, hold on. Let me think of my biggest regret because I want to see if you're right. Because you might actually.
You said one in the opening.
What was it?
Well.
Oh yeah, I did say that. I said my
didn't
biggest
listen.
regret. I forget. It's one. That was one of mine. But Oh wait, hold on. Let me just come up with my biggest regret because I really actually have one. Hold on. Searching. Ooh boy. Ooh yikes. Ooh, okay, got it.
My biggest regret, I'm Nikki Glaser, is quitting on myself singing early on and waiting so long to feel confident enough to do it.
Okay. It's interesting because that actually was the one I came up with for myself when we came up with this topic in Starbucks early this morning when we were talking about it. I was like, oh yeah, that's mine for sure. And then just now when I redid it, my biggest regret is like, it just rifled through my head all the times that I've been like mean to people I love. Like all the times I've said something in anger or said something to hurt someone. And it just, there's so many, I can't even like focus on one. But like there's recent, it's like yesterday of just saying something that comes out the wrong way, that didn't need to be said. And it's my ego getting in the way of like, I want to be right. Or like, I want to make this person feel bad so I feel better. Like, I think if I could do all of those, I think that would be my biggest regret. But yeah, you're right. Like that's probably, if it was, I had to pick one.
Yeah, I guess there's one regret. I wonder though, it's like some feel like selfish regrets where it's just like, oh, how would it make my life better?
Yeah, I should have not spent that money.
But if you made your life better, maybe you wouldn't be projecting on those other people. So it's like,
I have a couple, like not really getting to I do soon enough, not working on myself sooner, not forgiving people sooner, not breaking up with people when they mistreated me and respecting myself. But honestly, I can't regret those times because if I could have, I would have. Like I think back to some of the like neglect or like shit I've put up with from men or friends, and like, what was wrong with you? Why would you stay? Because the person now would never. But like,
yeah,
I couldn't leave because I just didn't. It's like picking up a box and you don't have the muscles to pick it up. Like I didn't have the strength. So like, I'm not gonna go back and go like, you fucking idiot. Why didn't you do that? There was no. If I could have, I would have. You know?
I think there's two ways to look at regrets. I think sometimes you could be like, I regret not doing it, and you could be so angry about it, but you can also say, yeah, I wish I did that differently without having emotion behind it. Like, you know, I would say my biggest regret, well, I have a few, but like not paying my debt off or like understanding taxes and stuff. I mean, that led to so much depression and so many bad decisions. But, you know, I don't know. I mean, everything... You know, whatever. It sounds cheesy, but I'm here.
I used to think that was the biggest bullshit when people would go, everything happens for a reason. Because you go, how could child like hunger or what's happening in Yemen, what the suicide bombers, like how could that be? What reason would child rape be for?
The cardinal.
And we were talking about the cardinal thing.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was talking to someone yesterday about the Catholic Church and how I hate the Catholic Church because they made my parents have shame that is on me and their parent. Like, I think they've done, and obviously they're still molesting kids and still being silenced. I just saw a video clip the other day on Reddit of a priest. Have you ever seen this video? It's recent because the priest is baptizing a kid and the kid is crying.
Yes?
He said yes, and it was so funny. And I think we need to get rid of him because a guy, he didn't know what eyes was.
No, what's he doing?
He said the ES of God are watching. And I go, this guy, this old man, he probably senile, priest, whatever he is, bishop, I don't know what the fucking names are, Catholic Church, dipping the baby in the water, or about to, as a baptism. Clearly there's a baby screaming, crying because an old gross man is holding him, that the baby can probably just sense the energy that this guy fucking sucks and is either not safe to be around or is like senile and not of right mind to be holding him. And the parents are kind of just like, and the baby's crying, and the priest starts kind of like getting a little bit more intense with the baby, and then like grabs the baby's face and like slaps it, and then grabs it, and you can tell the mom's like, but she doesn't do anything, like,
because you can't,
because it's a fucking priest, and it's the Catholic Church. It's like if a random old man if your grandpa were holding your baby, I think you would take it from him, or like some random man holding a baby, like your nanny did the same thing, you would go, what the fuck? And you would like beat the shit out of that person because this guy's wearing a bunch of
an outfit,
a dumb robe, and has a bunch of smelly incense around him, and little boys,
and tradition
and fear and shame and God and fucking stained glass and just bullshit pews. I don't know. I'm just listing religious things. Pubes. Final thought. The priest won't let go of the kid, and then is like getting a little bit more intense and is like yelling at it and like slaps him. I can't even like watch the video. I sent it to my friend whose family's in the Catholic Church just to be like, can we like send this to your family to like let them know that this is just an example of what we allow and what we turn a blind eye to, because there's two cogent, cognitively sound adults with their baby who they care about more than anything in the world, and an old man is hurting their child, making the child wail even more and not letting go. The mom kind of is trying to be like soothe and like gently take it away, and then the dad kind of steps in and pulls the kid away, but like in a way that he is still respectful and deferential to this fucking crazy and probably demented old man. I mean, like, he's probably senile and shouldn't be doing that work, but no one's going to take him out of the work because the Catholic Church is all about denial. We don't talk about what's going on. We don't talk about the abuse. Let's just move them to another diocese and relocate them so they can start offending there. And then when they get in trouble there, we'll move them over here. And it's all protected because we're not taxed and the government can't look into it. And they get away with so much bullshit. And I hate the Catholic Church for all of that, among other things of just like spreading these lies and fear and fables that make people hate themselves, hate their sexuality, hate who they are. So much shame. And then my friend who's, family's in the Catholic Church, and he is not, he hates it for all the same reasons, said there's a lot of good that the Catholic Church has brought my mom.
Waiting for that turn, yeah.
Like he was even referencing his mom saying the fact that she has God gives her so much hope and like has helped her through some really hard times. It's given her community and all of these, and like tradition and all of these things. And you almost argue like, has as much in the Catholic, there's a lot of like most Catholics are just great people, and the people at the top are the money hungry, sinister, evil, shameful.
How much they've given to charity, how much they've
spread they do so
take
much
homeless
good.
People in,
And so as much as vitriol I have for religion, I can't deny that so much good has come of it. Now, would you argue though that if something is let's say I punch a dog, but in order to punch a dog, I'm going to donate $2,000 to this charity that's going to, because I really want to punch this dog, but can I pay $2,000 to punch this dog? Is it worth that?
Luigi or Marion?
That's a good question.
No, but yes, I know. No, I see what you're saying.
This dog is going to get hurt, but these other dogs are
do
going
we
to
have to have good with evil? Like, why do we need the evil part?
Or can we just take it out altogether and go, you know what? Even if good can come of it, putting any evil in the world is never justified by any amount of good.
Yeah.
Can I tell you what the book of Tao says about that?
Yeah, what does Tao say?
How can you know good if you don't know evil?
Shit. Dude, I read the most insane thing. That's the kind of I'm really getting into philosophy and like, as I've been examining my own stand-up and being like, what do I really want to do up there? What am I doing up there? Why am I struggling with like what I want to say and writing and like jokes and looking at my work? It's really about like, and after last week and the amount of love I got from besties, I know that something is different. I was telling my friend yesterday, I was like, I know the difference between you're so funny, oh my God, you brighten my day. Like, I love listening to you guys. Like, you make me laugh so hard. I know that. And then I know people that say, I'm not kidding you, dozens of people wrote to me. And if there are dozens that wrote to me, there's probably dozens that didn't write to me that said, I have been going through such a rough time. I have suicidal thoughts. I've cut myself before. I hate my body, and ever since listening to you and being honest about your stuff, I hear your voice in my head sometimes. I mean, I have countless screenshots that I can't even, it would just sound like me tooting my own horn so much, and I am tooting it a little bit, but it feels so good that someone out there today might not honk at someone, and that person that doesn't get honked at, because when you get honked at, you go, fuck you, and then it amplifies it, and then you might go home and like yell at your kid. Then your kid's gonna go, mom fucking sucks, slam their door. Then they go online and they jerk off and they watch porn that like is aggressive. Then they might hook up with a girl later on because of the porn they watch because their mom screamed at them. Like, it has, if my little thing of saying to
and then
someone
they
today,
start a podcast.
yeah, I mean, it can lead to good, again, like dysfunction and abuse.
Yes,
I always say, like, and people got mad at me about it, but like, if you were molested, I'm not saying like go molest people because it makes good people, but people that have been through hard stuff tend to be my best friends and the most interesting people because they've had to overcome something. That doesn't mean go out and molest kids because you're going to make stronger kids. What I'm saying is that, yeah, good does come of bad, but my original point was that I am now thinking about my life and like what I want to do with my work, and I've never felt fulfilled by you were so funny tonight. Never felt it. Like, it just, yeah, I'm glad you like me and I want you to like me, and yeah, that satisfies my desire to be at the popular table in high school. But having someone tell me that they were able to go and be in a swimsuit on a boat with people that they wouldn't have been able to be in a swimsuit about, and that when they look at their body in the mirror and they don't hate it because of something I've said, and listen, I'm not pretending to be a miracle worker, but people have written this to me and say, like, I hear your voice and you change the way I think about my negative thoughts and like the way I live my life. That shit hits me. Like, that's it. Like, I talked about discovering acting and being like, that's my purpose. Then discovering stand-up, that's my purpose. Dude, I'm having another one of those moments in life where all of those things before that I thought were my purpose have led me to this. And who knows if this is the final stage. But that's what I want to do. And I recently got exposed to this philosopher named Emil Emil, E-M-I-L. Just look at philosopher Emil. And it's so weird because I was on the plane next to Emil, and I go, this guy, you're my second favorite Emil now. I listened to this philosopher. I want to talk about it tomorrow. But this guy was talking about suicide and how he had a lot of thoughts about suicide. And I'm obsessed with suicide, as most of you know, like the topic of it. And he said that the Tao thing that you said reminded me of it. He said, suicide is comforting because without suicide and the option to escape the hell that is human existence, because it is suffering. You're born to die, right? You're going to die someday, and we're all fucking terrified of it. The idea, and life is hard. You have to wake up every day. You have to feed yourself. You have to clothe yourself. You have to bathe yourself. It's never going to be easy. Life is always going to have hardships. And if you really think about it, it is just endless pain. You're going to lose everyone you love. Everyone you know is going to lose everyone they love. Being alive is terrible, like in a lot of ways. And when you really observe that, it's so hard. And sometimes I would fantasize about suicide and feel really bad about it. Like, why does it comfort me? And this philosopher named Emil said that without the option of suicide, I would kill myself. Because the option of suicide, just knowing that I can escape it if I want to, allows me to live in the present moment and survive. So for the first time ever, I was able to hear this philosopher say something that made me feel not like I'm broken because I fantasize about suicide or I'm comforted by that. I've always felt like that's such a weird thing about me. But I'm right. Life is hell sometimes, and I have to keep living it. But the option that I could take myself out at any time, which, by the way, I want you to not go off and kill yourself because I'm saying this. I'm saying, and then he has a really good point for not to kill yourself, which DM me if you want me to send you the podcast that I'm talking about, because I don't remember it. I don't have time to look it up. But I'm just saying the option, listen to this, the suicide is the option. Thank God we have the option, and that we can imagine that, oh, if it gets so bad, I can take myself out. Because without it, we'd kill ourselves. Like, life would be too unbearable to think. If you were immortal, it would be fucking hell because you have no escape. There's almost some kind of relief that, like,
that you know that there is an option.
Yeah, like, I just love things like that can take something I feel so much shame about and make it and go, oh, that's not a crazy thought. It's actually very human instinct, and there's a reason why you think that, and it's not because you're a bad person. So if you're feeling like a bad person today for any of your negative thoughts, maybe send one to me, and I'll try to spin it in a way that makes it so you're not a bad person. Someone recently, I just want to say, a bestie sent me a picture of a girl online that's super skinny, a swimsuit ad, and she said to me, how do you deal with this? How do you make it okay that you don't look like this? Not you, but like her. Because, and I felt that way where I've seen models and I go, everyone says, Nikki, love your body. You're beautiful. Why? If this is clearly the ideal. I don't look like that. So why am I okay with what I am? And I actually am finally at a point where I can answer that girl. And I was like, I got it at 4 a.m. last night. I was like, I can't wait to write back to this because I do know how to accept that, because I was you a year and a half ago of being like, if I don't look like this, I should kill myself. Like this, every man wants this. And it's not every man. I'm saying the bulk of people would agree this is sexier than someone who's overweight, right? Maybe like, sexual men. Not everyone, I'm just saying. And so why should I be okay with being overweight? And there is an answer to that, and I'm excited to share it with you. And it's all about these ideas that you expose yourself to that allow you to be okay with your negative thoughts. Like that thought isn't wrong, but it's not. There's a reason for it, and there's an answer to make yourself feel better about the way you feel.